Hey guys, I'm the Metal Jesus, and I am back with another pickups video. This is going to be a pretty big one because I went a little crazy over the last couple months. I added over 50 games on about 15 different consoles, and that includes 2 that are new to my game room. It's gonna be pretty awesome. Let's take a look. If you've been watching my channel over the last couple weeks, you know that I went down to Portland Retro Gaming Expo and I had one thing in mind, and that was to get the Sega CDX. Now you're probably wondering, it's like, hey, don't you already have one of those? I show it in my intro. Well, that wasn't mine. That was actually B-roll that I shot for somebody else's channel. And ever since Joe let me borrow his, I wanted my own. So went down to Portland, got my own. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a very cool version of the Sega Genesis because it supports the cartridges right here, but then you can also play Sega CD games. And I've been wanting this for quite a while. It's a very compact unit, and you can end up paying quite a bit for one of these, especially if you want it in the box. I got a good deal. I got mine for $125. I felt pretty good about that. I also had to pick up some games, and so the first one right here, this is a full motion video game called The Masked Rider Kamen Rider Zo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Very Japanese, very weird. I love this kind of stuff, man, when they just pile on the cheese. It plays very similar to like, going all the way back. It's almost like Dragon's Lair, where basically a movie plays, you have to push a button in a direction, or maybe you have to hammer a button for a little while, but these are really fun to play. I actually like them. I'm on my Wing Commander kick, and so I saw that they had Sega CD version of Wing Commander so I was like, okay, cool. I want to get all the versions for the Wing Commander series. That's cool. And then a game I bought because of GameSack. I remember them talking about this, The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Got this on the Sega CD. Really cool game. I haven't played a ton of it, but just right off the bat, the driving sequence in the beginning and the music is amazing. So really cool to have a Sega CD finally in my collection. Next up is something that I don't run into very often. Now, I love plug and plays, especially ones that are really well made. And here is the Golden Tee plug and play. I found this actually up in Gig Harbor while I was on vacation. And this is a really cool plug and play. For one, it's just huge, but it has this little roller ball here. And it's really sensitive. It actually plays very similar to the original. And I ended up playing a ton of this. It's a great plug and play. I'm very happy to have this in my collection now. Here is the random stack of games, including the director's cut of Burnout 2 on the original Xbox. Now, I really wanted this because, well, I love the Burnout series, but this has more of what makes Burnout 2 awesome. And again, the director's cut only came out on the original Xbox, so this is awesome. I think it has basically more of Crash mode, which I miss Crash mode, so it's cool to own that. Here's another Xbox exclusive, and well, at least on consoles, this is a Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller. Now, Crazy Taxi came out on a bunch of systems, but it was the Xbox that got the third one. Now, I think it also came out on the PC, but again, for consoles, this is definitely cool to own. Here's a game on the Wii that I played, and I gotta tell you, I enjoyed it more than I expected to. It's called Endless Ocean Blue World. So this is a sequel. They made just the Endless Ocean game originally, and this is kind of a jazzed up version of that, but it's a very mellow, relaxing game. And I played it one day when I just had a ton of time on my hand. I was kind of looking for something where I would just literally go in this beautiful environment and swim around, and it was, I don't know, it's like, it's not for everybody, but I did enjoy it more than I thought. Here's a game that I added. I heard it was really good. It's called Batman the Brave and the Bold, the video game for the Wii. I also have this on the DS, and this is a really cool Batman game, so it's cool to have that. Here is on the 3DS, Paper Mario Sticker Star. I believe I picked this up one day because it was on sale at GameStop, and I love the Paper Mario games, so haven't played much of this yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And then finally, in this random stack of stuff, I have a PlayStation 4, and I was looking forward to this. Metro Redux. So this is Metro 2033 and also Metro Last Light remastered with all the DLC for current gen consoles, and this is really a beautiful shooter. I'm pretty far into 2033. I am enjoying it quite a bit, although there are definitely some times whenever it's really frustrating. So I don't know if I'll finish it, but I'm thinking of switching actually over to Metro Last Light because I heard that's actually a better game. But either way, this is a really good value. In my previous video, I mentioned the game trading site 99gamers.com. And since then, I've heard from a ton of people how much they love it, both on Facebook and Twitter, also people in person like at Expo. So I just have to say that I'm very glad that you guys found that site to be of value because I really enjoy it quite a bit. And as a matter of fact, I have more games that I got from there in this video. So I just kind of want to point these out to you. Again, they gave me money to spend there. But I gotta be honest with you, that didn't necessarily like cloud my judgment because it is really all about who you're trading with. You're trading with individuals. And actually in one case, it was really fun because I traded with somebody who is a fan of my YouTube channel. And so she messaged me, actually I got this game from her. I got Hammerin Hero on the PSP. And she's like, "You're the reason why I'm on this site." And it was actually pretty cool. It was cool to sort of come full circle with her. So anyways, all these games right here I got from 99gamers.com. Hammerin Hero, I first heard about this game from Reggie, who did I believe we did a hidden gems video, and he mentioned this, and so I had to have it. I also got Star Fox 64 3D, played a ton of this on my 3DS, and like it quite a bit. This is such a cool game. And you may have been watching my channel and seen a bunch of PlayStation 3 hidden gems. Well, I've been getting games for those videos from this site, and two of them specifically, Deadly Premonition, the director's cut. This is a game I was really looking forward to playing, and it did not disappoint. It's really weird, really wacky, right up my alley. If you are a fan of Twin Peaks, this is totally your game. Got that. Also got a game that a lot of people recommended I get on the PlayStation 3, and that's called Folklore. Another really interesting game, actually. I was very happy to get this and play through it. So, again, thank you guys for recommending these hidden gems for me because it's been so much fun playing them. And then finally from that site, a game I believe I reviewed way back in the day, and I forgot about it, and I was like, you know, a lot of people still mention this, and that is Spy Fiction on the PlayStation 2. Not an expensive game, but a game that I was looking forward to going back and playing again. And you know, it's from Sammy Studios, and back on the PlayStation 2 days, they used to be kind of like a budget publisher, but they put out some really interesting games, and Spy Fiction is one of those. And now let's swing back around to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, where I just got a ton of awesome games, including one that was donated to me by a fan of my channel. Came up to me on the floor, handed me this, and I apologize, I don't remember your name. There were so many people over those 2 days. I'm sorry about that, but they basically gave me a copy of Turnabout on the PlayStation 1. And this is a puzzle game that, frankly, I'd never heard of before. And you know, that's what I love about the PlayStation 1, is that I'm always amazed at how many games were released on it across every single genre, and I'm still discovering them. It's so much fun to collect for the system, so thank you very much. Also at the Expo, I picked up a really cool game, Mother 3 for the Game Boy Advance. So this is a sequel to Earthbound. Now what's cool about this, and you're probably going, wait, this was never released here. That's because this is a fan translation. And basically what they did is they put it into, I mean, this is like a really high quality cover, slip cover here. It's in a DS case, and then they put it on a cartridge. And I was playing this the other day, and it looks fantastic, and it's all in English. So this is really awesome. I highly recommend it. I believe I paid 35 or 40 bucks for it, which seemed like a pretty good deal. I was very happy to get this. Also got another game. Now, this is a game that a lot of people recommended. I did not include it in my PlayStation 3 Hidden Gems, but I could have. I just hadn't played it yet. But anyways, it's Tornado Outbreak. A lot of people love this game. Supposedly a total hidden gem, and it's been on my list for a while. So I'm looking forward to playing this. Also, a fan came up to me and a bunch of other YouTubers and gave us a NES homebrew. It's called Armed for Battle. So this is for the original Nintendo. And basically what this is this is a strategy game very similar to like Warcraft, but it's on the NES. And for one, this box is like professional quality. Like, it's really well made. And inside it's got a manual and it's got a printed label. And I actually played a bit of this, and it's impressive. I mean, it feels like a full-blown strategy game, and it's on the NES. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of point this out. I'll put links if you want to go buy your own copy. It'll be down in the description below. And then finally, a local console modder in the Seattle area came up and he gave me this. It was really cool. It's a modded version of the action replay for the Sega Saturn. Now, what's cool about this is that typically you can play Japanese imports with these, but what he's done is he's modded this so that if you have it in the Saturn, you can actually play burned Saturn games. Now, I don't collect a lot of burned games, but it is pretty nice to be able to just like test out games this way. And, you know, because you can do that and basically decide, well, okay, yes, I really do want to go buy that Japanese import. This is a way you could do that, so without spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So anyways, I thought this is a really cool, you know, something you don't see every day. All right, next up, big box PC games. You guys know that I love collecting big box PC games, and I've got a ton of them here, including a holy grail, holy shit game that I've been looking for quite a while. We're gonna get to that in a moment. But first, a fan of my channel, his name's Hugo, sent me this. I thought it was kind of interesting. It's the Terminator 2 Judgment Day screensaver. And it's funny because you forget that there used to be a whole business of screensavers back in the day. It was such a big deal. And there were so many really cool ones. I have the Doom one, now I have the Terminator one. And a lot of these were actually pretty interesting. And, you know, I don't know if I'll actually need a screensaver, but again, it's a pretty awesome looking box, pretty badass. So thank you, Hugo. Next up, I found a game that I've been looking for a while, and it makes me very happy. Star Trek 25th Anniversary. This is one of the best Star Trek games ever made. So awesome. It's an adventure game that was released back in the day, and essentially it's like brand new classic episodes. It's so well done. I used to really enjoy this game. As a matter of fact, this complements Judgment Rights, which was the sequel. So now I have both. And the reason why that's important is because Kinsey and I have been talking, and we really want to do a Star Trek episode. Just talk about all the really cool Star Trek games out there. And a funny kind of thing is that she really just wants to dress up in Star Trek. I guess she's got some sort of uniform or something like that, and she loves the classic series. So now we can do it. Next up is an RPG series that you don't really hear about that often, and I got the third one. It's the Magic Candle series on the PC. And again, I ran across this in a Goodwill, and it's something that I never really run into. So, and honestly, I haven't really played a ton of this series, but I always loved the art. I mean, it looks so awesome. But I believe these are very similar to like the Ultima, like 5 and 6 or 7, you know, kind of around that time, where VGA graphics, kind of like a 3/4 view. But yeah, kind of a cool addition to my game room. Here is one that a fan gave me down in Portland. Return to Krondor. This is by Sierra. The Betrayal at Krondor game was pretty awesome, and Sierra made 2 sequels, and I don't remember. Yeah, this is the official sequel to the original. I haven't played this yet, to be honest with you, so very cool to have this in my collection. When I got to the Expo, the immortal John Hancock, who has been on my channel a lot, had a bunch of PC games for me, including the Game of the Year edition for the original Half-Life. This is a beautiful box. It also includes Team Fortress Classic. Just look at that box. You know, I actually really like this box better than the original that we shipped with it. So this is pretty cool to own this. And thank you very much, John, but that was not it. He also had Stunt Driver by Spectrum Holobyte. Spectrum Holobyte was a company back in the day that used to do a lot of simulation games, and so this is a stunt simulation game. And it reminds me a lot of another game I liked at the time, which was called Stunts. So in this game, you basically drive around in a Ford Mustang and do a bunch of stunts, plus it has a track editor. Pretty hard game for the time, but a lot of fun. Recently, a fan of my channel named Chad contacted me, and he sent me a photo of a game that I have been looking for many years. It's a game you don't typically find out, and you never find unopened, at least where I live. And Chad sent me this, and it blew my mind. You guys know I love Fallout. Well, one of the best versions of Fallout is Fallout 2, and this is unopened. Now, many people don't realize just how collectible big box PC games has gotten, because this game opened typically goes for $100 to $150. New, $200. Well, it recently sold for $200 on eBay. There's been some that haven't sold, but basically that seems to be the price. And it's been way out of my reach for a long time. So he offered to put it into my game room, and again, Chad, thank you very much. This is one of the prized possessions of my game collection now. I absolutely love Fallout and Fallout 2, so thank you. I'm speechless. Thank you very much. All right, moving right along. Some more games, lots of games. So on the Nintendo DS, I finally found a copy of Ghost Trick. Now, I played a bunch of this on the iPad version, but I've always wanted the original DS version. This is a really funny and interesting and very unique adventure game. I was really happy to find a copy of this, and it's so cool. So definitely, if you are into like interesting adventure games, go watch a video of this, because it's totally trippy. Also, I found another game. It's like a Japanese adventure game, and it's called Time Hollow. Haven't played this yet, but I've heard that it's pretty interesting. Obviously, it deals with time and time travel. But anyways, there's a bunch of Japanese adventure games on the DS, and this is one that I was looking for. Very cool to find that. While down in Portland, Drunken Master Paul bought me a game, and it looked weird at first, and I almost bought it myself, actually. That is called A Fork in the Tail. This is for the PC. This is a full motion video game starring Rob Schneider, kind of a 90s comedian. What's really interesting about this game is that it's highly regarded in full motion videos. And so, like, if you are a fan of full motion video games, people often point to this one as being one of the better examples of it. So, kind of interesting to own this game. It's probably really cheesy, but I don't care. It's cool to own it. And then finally, I was out game hunting with Kinsey and came across this for the PSP. It's a role-playing game called Popolocroy. I hope I'm saying that right. But basically, this is a really interesting series. There's 5 games in total, but only this one came out in North America and in English. So there's actually 5, and I think some of them are on the PlayStation 1. But anyways, and there's also like an anime series and stuff like that. I reviewed this originally way back when the PSP first came out, and then I traded it and got rid of it. And so it's cool to have it back in my collection, because I love collecting for the PSP. Next up, a fan of my channel, his name's Danny, sent me a box of games and some really interesting stuff in there. So I'll show you what that is. Drug Wars for the 3DO. I guess this is a sequel to Crime Wave in the arcades. Never played it. This is a full motion video game on the 3DO and looks weird and cheesy as all hell. He also included in there a 3DO buffet, a smorgasbord for your mind, and there's a bunch of looks like just kind of demos and stuff. Here's a game I've been wanting for a while, and it's called Quarantine on the 3DO, and it might be kind of bad. It's sort of like a Doom clone, but you're driving, and it's post-apocalyptic. You're mowing down dudes, blood splatter. For me, actually, this box, like that box is awesome. You know what I mean? Just like turn on the windshield wipers after you're mowing down dudes. I don't know. Another game he included in there, the classic Night Trap on the 3DO. A game I have not played, but I've heard a lot about. Another full motion video game, which were the hip and happening things at the time. But this game is very infamous, and I guess was part of the creation of the the rating system for video games. But I've heard it's really tame, so I don't know. I'm going to check it out. And then he also included some interesting games in there. Time and Eternity. This is a Japanese role-playing game. Actually, I first heard about this when Reggie came over because he loves these kind of Japanese RPGs. And this is the special edition, so it has soundtracks and art books and stuff. Next up, another fan of my channel, his name's Joseph, sent me a bunch of games, including Wolfchild on the Super Nintendo. Originally heard about this game when we did a Hidden Gems video with the immortal John Hancock, and I did not own a copy, so now I do. Thank you very much. He also sent me a copy of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters. So, you know, I gotta be honest with you, I haven't played a ton of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games, so it's kind of interesting to finally own some of those. Because he also sent me a game that a lot of people want, and it's complete, and that is the HyperStone Heist. This is not a cheap game, and I was kind of shocked when I saw the prices and how much these go for. So thank you, Joseph. But he also sent me a couple other ones here. Batman, these are on the Genesis, obviously. Batman, Shaq Fu, did not have a complete copy, now I do. And then also Spider-Man, so thanks very much. Zach is a fan of my channel who also very graciously sent me a bunch of stuff. He actually sent me a ton of PS2 games. He might have sent me his whole collection. It was kind of crazy, but I want to point out one part of it that I thought was pretty awesome because I didn't have a lot of these actually, and that is pretty much almost all the entire Guitar Hero series for the PlayStation 2. Guitar Hero 1, 2, 3, World Tour, which is 4, 5. He also sent me Rock of the 80s, Aerosmith, and Smash Hits, plus a ton more of other games. Dude, that was really awesome. You actually really helped fill out my PS2 collection quite a bit. Some games that I thought I had in my collection, I didn't, and so thanks, dude, for sending all that stuff. Also, while down in Portland at the Expo, a guy from Hyperkin ran up to me, and he was one of the marketing guys. And he's like, dude, we love the Metal Jesus channel at Hyperkin. We watch it all the time. And I gotta tell you, I was really flattered. He's like, you know what? You need an upgrade to your hardware. And so they actually gave me a Retron 5. And the reason why they did that is because they want me to be able to get better gameplay footage, which I thought was actually pretty awesome. I was like, yeah, that's actually a really good reason to own one of these. And so they gave me one of these, and I just want to kind of mention it because it actually is a really interesting console. I was playing with it, well, ever since basically I got back. And it's really cool. It's called the Retron 5 because it basically, you can use what? Famicom, Super Famicom, NES, Super NES, Mega Drive, Genesis, and then as well as Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games, but they all upscale to HD. So you can actually output them into HDMI to a modern HD TV. And that's awesome for me because I gotta tell you, it's super clear. I mean, the picture quality is amazing on this. But I did have one reservation, and I asked about this. I was like, I had heard about this, obviously, but I also heard that a lot of people were kind of complaining about how tight the cartridge slot is, which sounds like a sexual innuendo. But no, I mean, really, it's like the cartridge slots, when these first came out, were pretty tight, and so people were struggling to kind of get their cartridges in and out. And I told them, I was like, that's a huge concern for me because I do have some games that you know, I'd be pretty heartbroken if they were damaged. And so this version right here is actually a newer model and a newer manufacturing thing. So basically they went back to the manufacturer and they loosened those up a bit, and you can really tell. It's not perfect, like it's still definitely kind of tight in there, but it wasn't any big deal. Also, the Game Boy Advance upscaling on this, again, is amazing. So I'm gonna use this for pretty much most of the footage that I get from here on out, you know, unless I really feel like I need to capture it on the original hardware. This is definitely a cool option for me. The other thing I really like about it is that you can use the original controllers for all these systems on this device. So it comes with a wireless controller, but again, you don't have to use it. If you prefer to play on an actual Super Nintendo controller, you can do so. Also, you can save states. So again, you don't have to worry about save codes or passwords or any of that sort of stuff. You can save at any time. definitely a really cool device. If you're interested in one of these, follow the link below, because, you know, so far I'm actually pretty impressed. All right, we're getting down to the end here, guys, I promise, but I have a couple things I want to show you, including something that I just could not pass up. Now, I'm not a huge Halo fan, but when I saw this, I was like, I have to get this. So it's my understanding that this is part of Halo Reach, the Legendary Edition. And essentially what it is, Todd McFarlane created these custom for this. So basically when you bought Halo Reach and you got that version of it, it came with a bunch of extra stuff, but this was sort of the highlight. And this is the characters in the game, and again, hand painted, beautiful, just so cool looking. So, you know, I'm not the biggest Halo fan, but of course when I come across something like this, I'm like, damn, that looks awesome. So I picked this up at a Goodwill, I want to say for 15 bucks. That seemed like a pretty good deal. Also, you guys know that I am into music, and I just want to point out a couple albums that I got recently. Some classic albums from the 90s that, honestly, in the 90s, I listened to these all the time. We're going to start off with Caius. This is Blues for the Red Sun. If you don't know who Caius is, you're missing out. Basically, Caius is the first, well, they turned into Queens of the Stone Age, but originally they were Caius. Super low-end, heavy, droney kind of stoner rock. Getting this on vinyl was a total win, because I used to love that album. But their album that I loved even more than that, and I listened to this all the time, I drove my roommates crazy, is Sky Valley. Welcome to Sky Valley. This is a masterpiece. I absolutely love this album from beginning to end. So good. If you're looking for something new and interesting, and you like heavy stuff, kind of maybe like Black Sabbath, but a little bit more, I wouldn't say mellow, but just, I don't know, it's just hard to say. Give Caius Sky Valley a try. And finally, one of the greatest metal albums of all time. I love this so much, and when I saw it on vinyl, I had to own it. That is a special edition of Pantera Vulgar Display of Power. This is an amazing heavy metal album from the 90s. This changed my life, this album right here. So many great songs. Mouth for War, A New Level, Walk, Fucking Hostile. That's a good song. Actually, that's a really good song. By Demons Be Driven, Hollow. Dude, so many great songs. Has all of the liner notes. It's meticulous. It's awesome. So very happy to own some classic 90s metal in my collection. Well, there is just some of the games I've added to my collection over the last couple months, and as always, man, you guys have been so generous to me, donating so many awesome games, and now they live in my game room, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And also I want to say thank you to everyone who came up to me at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. You know, I was telling my wife that, you know, sometimes making videos it can feel like a part-time job sometimes. And don't get me wrong, I love it and I'm always gonna do it. But, you know, it's work, it's hard work, and it takes many hours. And I gotta tell you, going down to an expo like that and having fan after fan come up to me and shake my hand and tell me their story and talk about games, and it just sort of renews me, you know, it just sort of like just reminds me why I do this. And again, you guys are so incredibly awesome. I really appreciate it. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching my channel, and thank you for subscribing. Take care. If you like this video, well, I happen to have many more on my channel, and I release new ones every single week. And I not only cover video games, but I also cover music, gamer eats, and a lot more. So definitely check it out.